Today we have a chocolate rum made in Glasgow. I know, right? So this is a company that I've had my eye on for a little while. Rum in Scotland is kind of in an exciting place at the minute because there's lots of new and interesting distilleries popping up. I mean, we've already covered Dark Matter. We also did that smoked rum from, oh, what are they bloody called? The Escabac fellas. I'll leave a card. They're Scottish, they're based in Edinburgh. And then there's these guys. Some people might recognise the name, but not the bottle. They originally launched a few years ago with a much more sort of contemporary standard bottle, I suppose, a round bottle. Not actually dissimilar to the shape of a Glenallachie bottle, that kind of like standard bottle. But in place of like paper on it, it had, I think it's called laser printing, where they basically like print directly onto the bottle in the ink rather than having paper on it, whatever that's called. And they did okay, I suppose, but they didn't really make much of a splash. So they kind of went back to the drawing board and they came out with this much more kind of like homespun presentation, which, I mean, straight off the bat, I'm going to say, I love that. I genuinely love that. I think it looks very tidy, which is quite funny because, well, I mean, maybe this costs a fortune to make, I don't know, but it gives this impression almost of kind of like, you know, it's made in a shed. I haven't visited the Wester Distillery. I really want to be fair, there's a lot of places I want to visit at the minute, don't we all? But that's certainly somewhere that I would like to check out in the not too distant future. But this is the one that I've wanted to buy a few different bits and pieces of theirs, and I've been like, I'll hold off. And then they launched this, and I was like, damn you, you caught me. Chocolate rum. What's not to love about that? I will quickly say as well, this is a 20cl bottle. And it wasn't overtly expensive, but for a 20cl, it wasn't cheap. I think it's about £15, £16, something like that. There is a little bit of a description on the back as well. Pot distilled rum infused with cocoa husks. Wester Distillery, and then it says made with leftover Dominican cocoa husks from Glasgow's bare bones chocolate. Now, that my initial idea for this was to get a block of bare bones. I frequent many bougie coffee shops in Edinburgh, of which there are many, because it's fucking Edinburgh. I couldn't find it anywhere, which is a little bit odd, because I've definitely seen it before. I've definitely seen it out and about, but when you're looking for something, suddenly they all disappear. Maybe everyone had the exact same idea that I did. I don't know. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to get my hands on some, and I was like, well, do you know what? I'll try it out in a cocktail instead. We'll get to the serve that I've done for this. We're not going to be having it on screen, just because I'm recording a lot of videos back to back, but I will tell you about it, and at some point I'll put it up on Instagram as well, so if you want to follow me on there, it will pop up at some point, so you won't miss out on it. It'll just come a little bit later. That okay? Grand. Awesome. You don't get a say in this. I mean, you know, voice your protestations and disappointment down below, and I'll be sure to get my secretary onto that. What am I talking about? I don't have fucking can you imagine? Anyway, normally I go in blind with these. I couldn't do that with this. I couldn't resist. I was going to leave it blind and then like catch my reaction because I was expecting good things. Suffice to say, this it's good. It's good. But you want to see a man drink Glaswegian chocolate rum on the internet because, I don't know, it's a Thursday afternoon and you've got literally nothing else to do. I mean, that's basically what my demographics report tells me. It's, yeah, YouTube analytics can be quite scathing sometimes. So it's a beautiful, you're going to think I'm taking the piss here, and I kind of am. It's a beautiful chocolate colour. Sorry, couldn't resist. Yeah, in all seriousness, it's a dark amber colour because it is rum and there is cocoa husks in there. So that makes sense. Now, the nose is remarkable, first of all. There is a lot happening. It's very Pungent is a word that often people associate with things like blue cheese and a corpse. I link the two quite frequently. I'm not a fan of blue cheese. It's a very polarising. I mean, it's just rotten dairy. Why? Oof, no. Oh, hello, Vicar. Thank you for joining us for dinner today. Would you like some smegma on crackers? Oh, God, no. Oof. And that's me saying that. Back to the rum, if there's any of you still watching after that. God, that would have been an episode of Vicar of Dibley, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ. Back to this, before I completely derail this. It's too late. But anyway, it's beautiful vanilla and like rich dark cacao chocolate. But there's another element to it as well. It's like a light roast coffee in there. The nose is very pronounced. It's really... There's so much happening. There's like a little bit of like a mixed spice kind of a thing as well. But there is just this really like lovely rich cocoa flavour. When it said cacao nibs, I was like, okay, right, it's going to be like a little bit earthy and, you know, it's just going to mainly be the rum. But it's not. The chocolate is really front and centre. What I will say as well is, if you're a fan of like darker Lindt chocolates, you know, like the 80%, you know, those kind of chocolate bars. If you're more of a Dairy Milk or a Wispy fan, which, to be fair, I'll chow down on just about any old chocolate, ruby, white, whatever, I'll have it. But occasionally there is like a divide on the aisles where there's some people that will only get like the high cocoa mass ones, you know, like 80-90%. And to be fair, if I'm in the mood for those, I love them. They're great. And sometimes you're in the mood for like, you know, a fatty, stodgy thing with like a layer of caramel and it's aerated and it comes in a fancy packet and all the rest of it. This is not a Cadbury bar. This is a, you know, artisanal chocolate, which makes sense because that's literally what it's sourced from. So, you know, if you had this artisanal product, but it ended up tasting like milk tray or something, you'd be like, I feel a little bit hard done by here because it's not what as advertised, you know? If they said, oh yeah, we chucked a load of dairy milk in the vat and called it a day, you'd be like, fair enough. You'd probably ruin your equipment doing that, to be fair, because I mean, that wouldn't work, no. As the air gets to it, just more and more of like this wonderful fruity chocolate aroma comes at you. The rum's almost kind of just having a nap at this point. It's like, yeah, the chocolate is the star of the show here, so let's just keep bringing it. And there is like a bit of like an oaty kind of a porridgey, dairy oaty kind of a aroma. It's got that kind of like sweet lactic quality. I really like smelling this rum. It's a lovely one just to like keep it coming. But I'll stick some in here now. My words are weird today. It's really fruity, and there's this kind of dry, spicy licorice kind of a note, and it follows all the way through. It's kind of like a core component of the flavour. So one thing, if you're one of these people that does not like licorice or licorice-like flavours, you might start to struggle with this. But around that is like these heavy, rich, fruity cacao flavours. It's not sweet in, you know, the way that a chocolate bar often is. It has a natural balance, I want to say. In case you can't tell, I've been really enjoying this so far. Yeah. On the second sip, it's reminded me a lot of like cinder toffee and actually not cinder toffee, bonfire toffee. It's a really specific thing. It's basically black treacle sweets. They are a little bit acrid, a little bit, they've got like this sweet, savoury, licoricey kind of an element to them. I love them because I grew up on them, because they were cheap and they were sweet and it kept me quiet for 5 minutes, so my parents loved them as well. Because I was an obnoxious little fuck, you'll be amazed to hear, I'm sure. Actually, I wasn't. I was quite quiet, all things considered. How times fucking change. Heavy molasses, licorice, and then you get this wonderful, like, deep, rich cocoa flavour coming through afterwards, and it lingers. The rum itself is quite light and quite floral. But again, the star of the show is the cacao, and it really does take centre stage. The rum is almost there just as like a delivery system. So it's a little bit difficult to judge the rum as its own component, but what I will say is it comes together really beautifully. In case you can't tell, I really dig this. It's not often that I will be this glowing about a rum. I'm really happy I got it. I am a little bit pissed off at myself that I didn't get a bigger bottle now, but to be fair, at the time I did not know. I hope they do this again, or do you know what, if they did a coffee rum. Ooh, yeah, no, that'd be, that, yeah. Or maybe a coffee chocolate rum. I'm getting away from myself now. Western might pick up on this. I have had a few, like, producers of liquids, kind of like, you know, get in touch periodically and just be like, hey, thanks for the kind words. And I'm like, did you not watch it? Okay, you're welcome, I guess. So, you know, it's nice when they pop up and it's like, hey, thanks for saying nice words. Or, you know, if I didn't, then, you know, the death threats. But hey, that's part of life, you know. Let me know down below. Have you tried anything from Wester? Did you even know they exist? Marion, I'm really sorry that I keep reviewing things you can't buy. I thought I'd actually apologise on a video now, because I keep doing this and I feel like I'm a dick. I'm not going to stop. I just want you to know I feel bad. Just not bad enough to stop doing it. Because however bad I might feel, I'm also selfish. So, now that's out of the way. Everybody let me know down below did you learn anything? I learned that, oh, bollocks, cocktail serve. I nearly forgot. I was going to wrap this up without talking about the cocktail serve. I experimented with this. I'm not going to do this on, I did that already, didn't I? Yeah, so, I call it the ready break because of copyright reasons. I'm sure you get where I'm going with this though. And if you don't, I can't help you. But, quick serve. 25ml of the Wester chocolate, 25ml, can I reach it? Yep, hopefully nothing falls on me. 25ml of Brocken oat vodka, also a Scottish product. Seriously, if you're a vodka fan, buy this. It is literally one of the best vodkas I've ever had, and I don't say that lightly. And actually, have I reviewed this? Did I review Brocken? I'm sure I must have done at some point. Anyway, we're getting off touch. So, 25ml of Brocken, 25ml of the Wester chocolate, and 50ml of oat milk. It's delightful. I first picked up on kind of like I said earlier, kind of like this slightly lactic oaty quality, and I started thinking, okay, let's go complement. Sometimes with cocktails you want to go contrast, and I was like, nah, do you know what? Let's go all complement. Let's make a cuddle in a glass. So I went with a bit of this, a bit of oat vodka, and a bit of oat milk because I've transferred over to oat milk in the last few weeks. I know, but at the same time, I've always been a bit weird about dairy milk. But I've never like made the switch because I never found one that I liked, and now I have, so I changed over. And I've been, yeah, oat milk, great. But that's my serve. I will put it up on Instagram at some point. Assuming I remember, I'll remember, it's fine. I'll definitely make it again because it was beautiful. It was just like liquid chocolate porridge. It was fantastic. Not very balanced in the, you know, classical sense of the word, but fuck it, it was nice, so who cares? Yeah, that's it. Thumb this video if you enjoyed it. Hi Marion. And do join me next time where I'll be drinking something else.